Hi there. Welcome to this YouTube page and thank you for tuning in. I am Dr. Alham Raker, pediatrician at Ask Dr. Mom. And I, along with helping you with your kids and answering questions and emergencies and things that come up, I really like to focus on helping moms, just getting through the day to day and how to manage life and work and all the things. So I invited Dr. Johanna Moore, who is owner at She Is Money. And she is a great resource at helping with how to really help busy moms. That's her focus, busy professional moms. So we were going to have a conversation on her best tips on how to do that.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm so happy to be here. So, as you said, I'm Johanna Moore. I'm the founder of She Is Money, and I am also a physician. But She Is Money is an educational platform where we help ambitious women who are really trying to find their own version of success. And we do that by equipping them with strategies that help them to achieve that success that they personally want. And so everybody's form of success is a little bit different. And of course, the new moms have like a whole separate category of what success is because they're just trying to keep their kid alive. I think is a big part of your success as a mom during that period of time.
It really is. I mean, I think that even as a pediatrician, I thought I would be a little bit more prepared. And yes, I had the medical knowledge, which wasn't always good, right? You kind of assume the worst, unfortunately, when you do have that knowledge. But there's not a lot of things that prepare you for being a mom. It's nice to have these resources. That wasn't a thing, I don't think, as much as when I was having my littles. But I think having trusted resources is amazing.
For sure. The changes between when you get pregnant and all through pregnancy and then the delivery and the year after is like such a huge maternal physiology that like is just amazing that we don't talk about that more. So I'm sure you see a lot of moms who are just coming in like just trying to deal with all of the hormones and emotions in their bodies and
Oh,
all that, in
100%.
addition to keeping their kids alive. I think one of the biggest issues with, being a new mom is the guilt over everything. I mean, you're guilty because you're not at work. You're guilty because you're, at home all day and you don't want to be there. And then you leave and then you don't want to be gone and dealing with all of that. I think that that's like such a major issue for new moms.
Absolutely. What is your biggest advice for that? What do you think helps the most?
Well, I think a lot of the clients that I see in She Is Money are new moms, as well as, more mature moms, and also even women who are just sort of hoping to become moms someday. I think have a really hard time with that work-life balance because all of a sudden they've found something that's more important to them than work. And that's never been the problem. But once you become a mother, it's like all of a sudden everything changes. There's three things that I think are a good place to start that help decrease anxiety and help you kind of center yourself so you don't feel that guilt. The first thing is guilt about being at work and doing your job right. A lot of these moms are maybe they're also sort of nurturing their career at the same time. And so maybe they're about to become a partner or they're wanting to become a partner sometime in the future, or they're trying to impress their boss and their colleagues so that when they're, when they come back for good, that they're accepted back into the circle of the employee community. And that can be really hard because a lot of women feel like they have to work harder in order to do that. And that's actually not true. We just had one of our colleagues, she took off for after her delivery. And for me, the worst part was that she was just gone. So when she came back, like I didn't expect her to take more off my plate than was fair. I just expected her to be there so I didn't have to do her stuff anymore.
Right.
So I think that that's one fallacy that you should just keep in mind, is that you need to be really real about your professional worth and what you're doing on the job that's bringing value, but also having boundaries to not have to do, way more than is expected. So I think that's one big thing. The other thing that I think is really important is to take care of your health. And there's always that mom, I don't know, I know this one friend of mine, she was running like marathons like right after
Wow.
she delivered, and she was always like posting videos of herself doing like workouts in her backyard with her kids like on her back.
Wow. Yeah. Well,
You're a superwoman, but for those of
right.
you who are not a superwoman, who are just a badass like in general, like it just make sure that you are taking care of yourself, like making sure that you're getting enough fats in your diet, because you're probably producing milk for your kids. So you really need to make sure that that nutrition is there. You need to make sure that you're stretching it out, because your body just went through a whole bunch of crazy changes, and daily stretching does a lot of things, to really help your body and your mind get back into sync. And going back to the guilt, is I know when had very small children, even if I had a babysitter or my husband or my mom around, I felt really guilty going out for a run all by myself.
Right. I
And
know
it's
it's so
like
hard.
20 minutes, like they're probably going to sleep the whole time. So just,
Totally.
get out there and enjoy that moment of peace by yourself that, you
Yep.
never get, and gain some sanity that way. So I think that's really important, is taking care of yourself physically.
Yeah. And for me, I think the physical exercise is a big part of my mental health. So
Right?
getting some time outside, some time by yourself, all of that is really going to help your mental health. So I think that's a really good point to remember as new moms.
Yeah, I don't know, like what sorts of things did you do when you were a new mom that just kind of got you out of
My
the house?
biggest thing was going for walks. I love, and still is. I mean, that's been a big part of this past year. But as a new mom, you can put the baby in the stroller, you can carry them so that you don't even have to worry about leaving your baby and just walking,
Right.
and depending on where you live and the weather, that may be a little restrictive. But even sometimes going to the mall and walking, just walking, if the weather's not great outside. So that was a big relief for me, was to do that in the beginning, because really I think you also have to be nice to your body. Like your marathon runner friend, that's awesome, but I was nowhere in shape to do any kind of rigorous activity. So yoga, walking, that was more my speed. um,
Absolutely.
Post-natal yoga, again, a lot of classes will let you bring the baby, so that was nice to not have to worry about a sitter. So looking for classes like that, I think is good. And then definitely the alone time. Honestly, like the shower was kind of like my favorite alone time. Like just having someone watch the baby, or when the baby was sleeping, just showering or taking a bath. That was like a big indulgence.
Absolutely.
It's the
Uh,
little things.
yeah, for sure. And walking is just such a great activity anyway. I mean,
Yeah.
so let's see. The third thing that I wanted to talk about was just one little trick that I use to decrease anxiety in general. And I think when you are a new mom and you are still lactating, and you're really, really close to that child, it's really the perfect time to instate some kind of like memories in your body of what that feels like. I mean, you have all those hormones going on,
Yeah.
and it really decreases anxiety and increases motivation in the future if you train your body to kind of be able to resummon that love that you feel right now. And so one thing that I did. I didn't do it when they were tiny babies because I didn't know about it at that time. But when they were probably toddlers, I started doing this, and it really changed my outlook because it gave me a little tool in my pocket that I could always use if I was feeling like unbalanced. And so what it is that, when you're holding your child and they're just like snuggling up into you and you just feel like this intense, like, love just kind of like washing through you. So
100%.
when that happens, when you're doing that, like you're physically in the moment, start making a small physical gesture that you can repeat anytime in public, not in public. For me, it was I just would put my hand kind of over my chest, like my right hand, I would always put it over my chest. And when you do that, your body starts to associate this feeling with your action. And so when I was away from my children, if I were to do that and think about that memory of holding them, it would really bring a lot of calm and feelings of satisfaction and safety to me. And so after a while of doing that, you can even include like a sound or a smell, like a certain type of chapstick. If you include that in, it just magnifies the motion. And so now, like even right now, I'm just like kind of showing you, and I'm feeling like my heart rate's lowering, and I'm just feeling so much more calm because I've trained my body that that memory is always with me. So that's a little trick that I learned that I think is really helpful for new moms who are just totally frazzled.
I love that. I'm going to incorporate that. So I have something that I learned early on before I had kids, putting it into your hard drive. Someone gave me a lecture about that. So, if you see your husband doing something that's really great with your kids, put that moment in your hard drive for the time that he does something that drives you crazy.
Oh, that's
Was kind of
brilliant.
Yeah, that was kind of the lecture. So it made me think of that, but I love the attaching a physical thing to it, or a smell, or to, something else, so that you can really associate that and physiologically really make a difference in how you feel. So attaching the memory to something physical, I think, is such great advice. I really love that. And such great advice for a new mom, because, you love that snuggle time with your baby. And I always talk about quality, not quantity. I think quality time is so much more important than quantity time.
Uh,
So even if you have that once a day snuggle with your baby and you really enjoy it, that's so much more important than feeling frazzled all day and thinking about work, but you're with your baby. And, so just enjoy that moment with your baby,
for sure.
and be at work when you're at work. And if you need that little extra snuggle, do that and have that memory. I love that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think that a lot of people they know what their triggers are for being angry or being sad or being upset. Like, oh, every time my mom says this, it just like totally makes me crazy and see red. But a lot of people don't know their triggers for what make them feel good. So I think that that's really great to like take note of that. Like, oh, my husband did that. That really made me feel good. And like
Yeah.
just keep that in your hard drive, as you were saying. That's so
Yeah.
great. I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. Those are great, great advice. And, helping new moms is definitely a passion of mine. And making sure they get the resources that they need, so that they can parent as with much confidence as possible and have that peace of mind. So I appreciate you being on. I appreciate the advice. Wish I had it when I was having my littles, but
Me
I'm going
too.
to start doing that.
Me too.
Right.
I'm so excited to see what else happens with Ask Dr. Mom.
Thank
And if
you.
anybody is interested in more success strategy at work or at home, please look me up. I'm on social media at She Is Money.
Yep. Great resource. Thank you so much, Johanna.
Yeah, thank you.